Hello and welcome everybody to A Company for Heroes 2 Shoutcast. I am TychoCelchuuu and my chair is probably creaking because I guess it makes noise now. That's how my chair works. And yeah, today we have a match between Stefan JF and Go Hard Like Drag. I don't know who Go Hard Like Drag is, but these are both extremely good players. Stefan is one of the top ranked players in basically everything, I think. And presumably Go Hard Like Drag is also top ranked. And we've got Soviets versus Oster, so vanilla factions. Very excellent. So it's been a long time since I've made one of these videos. People keep posting like, where are you? And are you dead? And you should make more videos. And you promised me you loved me, but now I'm back. And here we're watching a video with this cool new Observer UI. So it's nice that Relic finally gave that to us. Kind of lucky that these engineers didn't take much damage. At this range, at long ranges, the accuracy is really low on the MP40s, but if any of those bullets hit, they would do a lot of damage, because when you're setting up a building or laying mines or repairing or anything, you take extra damage. So had he rolled some lucky dice shots, those would have been bad. But yeah, this range you don't really have to worry about MP40s. They're not gonna... There's no accuracy there. So it's surprising that both players are fighting so much over this middle. They both really want it. And Go Hard Like Drag, in fact, Ghostwire is not a problem. Yeah, well, I guess Stefan wanted the VP too. Go Hard Like Drag wanted the VP enough that he was willing to stick his conscript over here into this yellow cover, which is slightly worse than behind this car, which is green cover. But yeah, you know, whatever. Might as well get that little star, start ticking off the victory points against your opponent. And so what's new in my life? Nothing. The last video I made, it was a slow descent into alcoholism, but I guess I'm back from that, so I'm not an alcoholic. So that's good. And we just see conscript spam. These guys are maybe alcoholics. What do you think? They look like alcoholics? There's probably not enough alcohol to go around to get drunk all the time. They're using it all for Molotov cocktails, which have yet to be upgraded. How can I get around the map without making noises? Because you can hear my mouse when it clicks, right? Clicky, clicky, clicky. I guess I just have to scroll to the edges. I can't use the keyboard either. I have one of those clicky sounding keyboards, which I like, but probably pisses other people up. Pisses other people off. I'm not sure how you can piss up somebody. It's probably some sort of weird sex thing. Sounds exciting. I'll give it a try. But these conscripts really taking it in the face. Conscripts better, I guess, at close range versus Grenadiers, but there's just... I'm not sure there's any way that was ever going to work. And now, ooh, that's really bad. Loses a whole squad getting focus fired. Good job from Stefan there, taking advantage of a inopportune tactical decision on the part of the Soviet commander. And we've chosen shock rifle frontline tactics. I want to know who at Relic has the job of naming these things. They all have such weird names, like shock rifle. That's not right. They don't have rifles. It doesn't make your rifles any shockier, and your conscripts don't get any abilities or something. There's nothing about rifles in this, so why is it called shock rifle? I don't know. I feel like that could be my job. Relic's hiring. They're hiring a balance person, among other things, because the guy who knew what the fuck he was doing quit. Peter Cumsey, or whatever, however you say his name. So that's unfortunate. The game's going to go to bullshit. But it has yet to descend into bullshit, so we're in like the golden age of it being just like moderately unbalanced and shitty. Who knows, maybe they'll hire a new person who actually like can figure things out. Hard to know, hard to know. So finally we have an MG42 out from the Oster, and it's going to set up and try and hold this house for him, or push people out of house, as it may be. These Grenadiers having trouble getting into good cover versus these guys because the wire. But there is this truck here, which it's not a truck, it's a car? Yeah, it's a car. It's an old-timey car. I'm surprised he wasn't making more use of, and good move also pulling the MG42 back. That position was definitely being overrun, and there's only so much you can do versus the house if you're not willing to invest a grenade in it. Not like he couldn't invest a grenade. Wait, we don't have upgrade to Battle Phase 1 yet, so no, he cannot invest a grenade. He's got plenty of fuel to take up to Tier 1, but needs to keep spending the manpower on reinforcing these guys. In terms of manpower... Oh, how do I pull up these graphs? Motherfucker, it's been a while. I haven't... Well, first I gotta find the fight. Surprised that these combat engineers were doing so well. First I gotta find the fight. Okay, now how do I... Where's the graph? Menu, no. idle infantry, observer. Fuck, not that shit. Go, come back. Okay, notice how the game does not like that. Where's the graphs? Sweet. Control tilde. I can do that. Fucking, that kills my computer. Okay, well, we should watch some stuff. I want to pull up the resources so we can check out the manpower, how that's been doing for the Soviets. But, yeah, in the patch where they released all this bullshit, my frame rate just took a huge hit, and it hasn't gone back up. I'm looking in the upper left right now. I have a little indicator, and that's... Oh, here comes a mortar. Nice hit. No one there, though. Oh, might lose another squad! Nah, they're probably getting out. Just make sure his mortars don't kill his own guys. That's going to really help versus this house. But yeah, my frame rate took a huge fucking hit with this goddamn observer UI. I'm getting 18 frames per second now, not 20 frames per second. Like, holy shit. My computer is not a bad computer. I have a 560 Ti NVIDIA graphics card. That's like a pretty good graphics card. It was really good when Company of Heroes 2 came out. But, it's still good. And so it really still ought to be good. How many kills on this guy? 0. 0 kills on the mortar. First dude's using it to push him out of the house, so that makes sense. Now we have a kill. Ta-da! About what you'd expect. Follow the targeted unit, maintaining the unit in track range. What a weird tooltip. Relic has so many weird tooltips. I just want to get inside the head of the person at Relic who's writing these. It's probably a scary place. You don't want to be in that side, inside that person's head. Actually, I shouldn't be mean. It's not like a scary place. It's just they're not like a writer. Or they're a writer, but they're not like... They don't know the game well enough to understand how to write these things. I don't know. Whatever it is, they're missing something crucial. And that's all I think about whenever I play this game. Certainly better than thinking about tactics. Fucking tactics. What have those ever done for anybody? Here's going to be the medic bunker. So it looks like the Soviets doing pretty well. The Auster's not. Oh, that hurt. Did we just lose a squad? Okay, Soviets no longer have, I like how that says destroy when it's killed, I never noticed that. The Soviets no longer have any construction units, any combat engineers, so they've all been wiped out by the fighting. The MG42 repositioned... Fuck knows where. What the hell? I guess they can sneak up on over here without being shot at it. So now we're gonna get... Anyways, let's pay attention to what the hell is going... This game... Fuck this game, by the way. Just, like, stuff is popping up on the left, and there's that one, like, control point icon. God, just rewind the YouTube video. There's, like, a control point icon that popped up here. It's confusing the hell out of me. But yeah, we want to keep a big eye on these shock troops. Let's use the star button, which has the weird, thing. We want to keep an eye on these shock troops to see how effective they're going to be. That was a nice LMG-42 burst, but this is going to be unfortunate, especially if they body block those guys in the retreat. They didn't do a very good job of body blocking. Sometimes the AI just sort of starts tripping over itself, and it'll let itself be body blocked like hell on the retreat, especially versus big squads like this. And that's when things can get really, really ugly. It's not like the worst in the world, because anytime you're being body blocked by somebody, they're basically not shooting at you, because to body block someone who's retreating, you want to move your unit in the same direction as they're retreating, and you can't fire behind you. So anytime one of these guys has like a guy stuck up behind him being body blocked, that guy himself is not firing at that guy who's being body blocked. But of course he can fire at people in front of him who aren't behind him, or these guys behind him can fire. So it's still a good, it's a good thing. One thing I like is how when they change the cover so that people now like get into cover when you tell them to, you get people lined up like this, sort of in pretty patterns just out in the open. Because aesthetically pleasing is one of the main things you want your army to be. The Nazis knew that, and they've never been wrong about anything, so take it from them. Ugh, why is my frame rate so terrible? Can I, while these guys get themselves fucked up... Holy shit! I take that back! Oh, that was bad. All the vet on that MG42 is dead. Hey look, it's a half-track. So this will hopefully help the Osthair at least hold some sort of position. The Soviets have just been pushing in so much, and I want to... Okay, I'm fucking doing it. Graphs, army value, resource. This doesn't tell me fucking anything. I can't... These are just for show. I wish this were Dota 2 or StarCraft 2. Those have real graphs. Relic just has this. Resource flow. That's very helpful. Anyways, I would have expected the Russians to be bleeding a lot of manpower, and I guess they have been, especially reconstructing their combat engineer. What's going up over here? Oh, where's the grenade? Oh, it's just a Molotov. Oh, is he gonna lose another squad? There's too much stuff to look at, and it's also hard to look at. Oof. So yeah, he did lose this conscript squad down here. That's really unfortunate. Oh, sweet. That was the badass dance. I didn't get a good look at it, but Germans really know how to break it down. You ever seen that YouTube video of some people breakdancing? I think maybe Germans breakdancing. No, it was Russians breakdancing long ago, before there were color in videos. Before there were colored people in videos. It was just all white people back then, but white people somehow knew how to breakdance. Smoke. So what was I gonna say? Hey, look, we've got a doctrine chosen. Encirclement doctrine. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. I guess close the pocket kind of makes sense as an encirclement ability, but so this thing drives straight in for reasons that are unknown to me. I mean, it's not in a huge amount of danger. It takes the AT grenade from the conscripts, but not much else. That was a nice Molotov. Wait, that wasn't a Molotov. That was a real grenade, so that was good too. A Molotov would have been nice there because it would have forced a reposition from the LMGs, but obviously if you can hit with a real grenade, that one's nice too. The nice thing about a Molotov is that even if they dodge it, it's sort of done its job. They can't go back where they were, and the flames will often catch with them anyways. So yeah, I was saying this thing doesn't have to worry about it except for the conscript AT grenade, and you might be saying, Tycho, you're a fucking idiot. Look, it's on fire and dead. But when I was going to finish my sentence, I was going to say, because there were all these infantry here that the shock troops and the conscripts were focusing fire on, then I was going to further follow that. Oh my god! Badass, 11 kills. I was going to follow it up by saying if the shock troops and the conscripts just got to focus fire, this is going to be tough for the Oster to get back because these shock troops are tough motherfuckers. Oh, nice grenade hit. Or nice mortar hit. Vet 2 on the mortar. That thing hasn't been decrewed. What's it shooting at over there? That's kind of a close engagement range for the mortar. What I was going to say, following up, ooh, this is just getting out. Should maybe think about chasing. What the hell is firing? That's a Maxim. And oh, so much shit is dying. Jesus Christ, what is going on? Oh my god! So this is an exciting game so far. A lot of infantry skirmishes. What I was going to say is that is what should be obvious to you now, which is that small arms fire, especially from the shock troops at close range, can really fuck up light vehicles like the half-track, especially if it's getting shot into the rear armor of the half-track, which is exactly what was happening. So if you're ever in that kind of position, I would suggest backing up your half-track against the shock troops. You need to get distance from the shock troops because at point-blank range is when they're the most just ridiculous. Their DPS is like 10 million or something. I haven't checked the files. They might have patched it from 10 million, but it used to be 10 million. But it's just really good up close, and a vehicle, they're going to hit like 100% of the time when they're that close. They're not going to miss a fucking half-track. I think it's really hard to roll a miss against a half-track. It's really hard to roll a miss against anybody at that range. Yeah, it gets pretty ugly. No teching from the Soviets except this thing for the Maxim. Presumably we can expect AT guns to come out of that someday if the Oster manages to get that far. This is the wrong person. If we click on the Oster, we notice we do have tier 1 up here, but nothing else from there, and 100 fuel being floated, 200 fuel being floated by the Soviets, who are presumably just saving up for a KV-8 or an IS-2, which makes a lot of sense because you don't have to tech up to whatever building that it is that'll get you tanks, and heavy tanks being pretty sweet. If your opponent goes heavy infantry, you can pull out the KV-8. That's like basically a hard counter to infantry, and if this mortar's doing a number on them, and if your opponent goes heavy tanks, you can just get an IS-2. It'll hold its own versus any tanks like that. This house is about 50% health. You always want to keep an eye on the health bar of these houses when a mortar's in play and the fighting is revolving around that, because incendiary barrage on the base. Not sure quite how much that's going to do, but I guess people retreating are going to be in trouble. Yeah, this machine gun's taking it up the ass. Oof. Oof. Ow. Got a lot of people on the retreat. Oh! What was... Were those... Oh. I can't tell. Those were... I was gonna say they're shock troops. Obviously not. They're like grenadiers, and they're burning to death, and... This is just... Oh, it's a clusterfuck. How do you get vision? NG? No, it's the shock troops. Right? We'll have to see what this armored car can do. I didn't have anything to follow up with that. I was just Let's see what it can do. Boom! Half health. Vet 2 conscripts, that's what you get. So why are the Auster getting pushed so far back? I think a lot of it has had to do with machine gun positioning and grenades. The Soviet player has been nice about flanking these machine guns, which, to be honest, it's kind of easy to do on this map. There's like sort of 3 ways to approach pretty much any point on the map, and you're gonna want to be approaching from those 3 windows anyways, because you want to be spread out across the map capping anyways. So it's not like the Auster player has a lot to answer for getting his machine gun flanked, but be that the case, or that even, there's some sort of phrase I'm trying to say. Anyways, even though that's the case, I think it has been mostly the MG42 not being able to pin down Soviet infantry, not being able to hold off enemy infantry, that has been one of the reasons the Auster has not been doing so tremendous this game. We see one of the MG42s did eventually get stolen after it was decrewed. Both of them were getting just decrewed all the time, whether or not they were getting stolen. You notice again right here, this MG42 of course setting up in a very bad position, and it's just been that sort of thing over and over that lets the Soviets, number one, capture a lot of the map. If they're not, holy shit, oh wait, no, I thought that destroyed the MG, but no, it destroyed the wire. The thing is, if you don't set up your MG42s and it, oh, what is this? At some point I bound a button on my mouse, I think, to snap to the unit that's selected. That's interesting. Or something. It snaps to something. I don't know. So the issue with not setting up your MG42s in effective positions is not so much that you're not getting a lot of kills or anything like that. The issue is that when you set up your MG42 in a good position, especially on a big map like this, and especially on the flanks, not so much in the middle, but the flanks is what I'm talking about. When you set it up on a good position on the flank, when your opponent goes over to fight you, these guys are in trouble. You don't want to lose them, because then you can't tech up again. When you catch somebody on the flanks with a well set up MG42, the 2 things happen. Number one, they have to retreat most of the time, and especially if it's sort of halfway through or your territory, when they retreat from the MG42, it's a long walk back to base, and that they're also going to have to think twice about going to that flank again with any infantry, because the MG42 is possibly there. And even if they do decide to try it again, they'll have to micro it to get the flank set up. They can't just sort of right-click off onto one of the sides of the map and hope for the best. So that's really annoying to your opponent, and it grants you quite a bit of map control, and it lets you sort of keep them on the back foot. You notice the Auster has mostly been on the back foot this game, finally sort of crawling forwards because the Soviets have stopped harassing the sides so much, and when they did harass up here, the Auster just managed to win that fight through judicious mortar use, and also by virtue of having fought the combat engineers who weren't doing very well. I think that mortar just damaged some armored car, but who's keeping track? No one's taking sides. Man, nice mortars. This thing's Vet 3 with 22 kills, and these very brave conscripts running up. I'm sure they're going to throw a grenade, that's the only reason. Yep, look at him. That's the only reason to oorah up to these guys. You're going to take so much damage, but a good reposition here by the Auster. Notice both players being good enough to keep active on all sides of the map. This munitions cache is maybe going to go down, but really that's, I think, bait at this point for the Auster, or the Auster is using it as bait at this point, which I think is kind of a good move. Having the Soviets focus on this thing, like this thing in specific, really is gonna fuck your opponent up if they put too much effort into killing it, because there's all this red cover. Oh, this isn't red cover, that's kind of surprising, is it? Yeah, this isn't red cover, but this is red cover all around it. And so if they're coming in from this way, you get infantry here in the green cover, you have infantry maybe up here in this house, that's hitting them, and that's some good damage. And really just funneling into this crossroads, which is also red cover, by the way, is a much better place for your opponent to be than sort of having a hold on the middle of the map. And maybe part of the way that is this a Maxim? That's hilarious. They've traded machine guns. Not a great trade for the Auster, I think. I'd rather have an MG. But in MG versus MG, the Maxim is better because it does more damage typically, so it'll outshoot the opponent's machine gun. So I think one of the reasons the Auster is managing to claw his way back, at least in the middle, is that the Soviet has focused a bit too much over here versus this munitions cache, and focused a bit too much on pushing even further into the Auster base. You saw those shock troops make their run in. I think had the Soviets focused a bit more on locking down, maybe things would have gone well. It's always tough when there's a mortar in play to try and lock down something, because then your opponent will just shell you. But look, time pressure is going to hurt the Auster if you have your hold on the VPs. You notice 230 VPs for the Auster. versus a million for the Soviets, and oh, this mortar is just deadly. My frame rate also deadly. Deadly to anyone who cares about frame rate, I guess. God damn. Relic, fix your game, please. Please, 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 please. It used to run better than this before your observer UI patch, so make it do that again. Oh, nice mortar, but not too little too late. You can take your Maxim back. This pack is jumping the gun a bit, but now we see the IS-2 coming out, no longer floating a shit ton of fuel. And I'm really not feeling the doctrine choice for the Oster. I don't know what the hell is going on. Let's see. Passive sprint. Use the sprint ability. That's actually pretty good. Stormtroopers. He hasn't bought any, I guess because they suck. There goes that thing. Break supply line. Send in a Stuka bomber to blow up a supply line. I don't think he's done that anywhere. And there's not much you can do on this map. It's a pretty cohesive map in terms of cutoffs. Tough to get them going. That was a failed grenade. Well, the Maxim is back in the German hands. Speaking of German hands, I don't have anything. I was hoping that would go somewhere. That was a weird sideways shot by the pack. It sort of went out sideways before it hit, I think. So, this is the power of AT guns, you know, penetrating heavy tanks from the front. That's just how it goes. And anyone who ignores the power of heavy tanks does so, or sorry, of AT guns does so to their detriment. So, the Pack 40, no slouch. And we have another. Now that the IS-2 is a ho. You are having a lot of fun. Look at you. You're like a kid in a playhouse. Oh, you're all tuckered out. Now you're sleepy. Settling down to rest. While the yellow square tries to eat you. Alright. A lot of vet on the German units, despite losing a lot of them. A lot of vet on the Soviet units, losing fewer of them. So that's exciting. Things get more high risk, high reward. And the AT guns just opening up. Look at this thing. Already down to... Whoa, we got both AT guns. Wonderful. Double fire. Soviets really not being super smart with the super tank. And who was probably hoping to do a bit more shock damage with that tank show up. Be like, motherfucker, I got an IS-2, what do you have? And the German's like, oh, all I have is the tier 2 AT guns. Please do not hurt me. And then the IS-2 rolls in and it's like, ah. But it turns out the AT guns, really effective. And you should all know that if you play this game. But again, easy to forget, especially if you have a big fucking IS-2 like this with a big fucking gun on top. Look at this. Dishk 38 12.7 millimeter. Ho-ho. It's massive. I'm getting tired of this shit. You know what I'm tired of? My frame rate. Let's see if I can complain about this 6 more times, because then I'll check the YouTube statistics and everyone will have stopped watching this video by the end. Every time I mention my frame rate, there will be like a down tick in the number of people who kept watching the video. Oof. Poor unfortunate shock troops getting suppressed before they get the smoke off. But this does clear the way for the other shock troops to come in and get themselves some vet too. And that's going to be the end of the squad, probably. Yeah. Oh, luckily he got away. I'm not sure why those shock troops weren't really firing so much of the second guy. He was sort of maybe more to the right and they were walking to the left, so they couldn't quite turn enough to get the hit. We're gonna see a grenade. I was about to say, yep, there we go. Boom! Jesus, that's at least the 3rd grenade decrewing an entire MG crew. I suspect MG crews are clumping up a bit more since the patch where they changed how infantry walk around in cover, and that's just it's a field day for the Soviets. But let's see. Let's continue analyzing the doctrine choice. Stormtroopers didn't buy that. Break supply line, didn't send any streetlights. Breakthroughs, slightly improves the speed of all vehicles and allows them to capture points rapidly. Nope, haven't used that. And then finally close the pocket. So that's not really useful here. What a back and forth game. Mostly fourth for the Soviets, but still the Germans are clinging to things largely on the basis of having neutralized this IS-2 very quickly when it came out. So the Soviets have pretty much just been stuck on shock troops and conscripts the entire game. Not like those are bad things to be stuck on, but obviously you end up being fairly reliant on good positioning of your shock troops and good grenades. Jesus Christ, good grenades against these weapon teams. And all power to the Soviets. They've been really setting up these flanks. And when they haven't been setting up the flanks, they've been really setting up these runs straight at the opponent and throw grenades at them and get lucky. And you really gotta be impressed with someone who manages to click on the grenade button and click on the opponent's weapon team and get lucky. I sound like I'm joking, but it's not trivial. You try walking up to an MG42 sometime and throwing a grenade at it. It's not as easy as it sounds, unless you use a smoke grenade, in which case it is as easy as it sounds. It's kind of easy mode, but then that's pretty munitions heavy. So another almost 400 fuel being floated by the Soviets. Just has to get some respite or respite. I think it's respite, because I always thought it was respite before, but I always pronounced the word wrong before, so now when I think... Anyways, just needs to stop bleeding so much manpower, which is obviously going to be very, very difficult against the Germans, because these LMGs are going to pick people off, and especially it's going to be difficult because you want your shock troops to get in range to kill people, so you have to get quite close and take a lot of losses, and shock troops are super expensive to reinforce. Like if we go over here, we notice 32 manpower to reinforce, and also tough because conscripts are not the most resilient of people, even with Vet 3. If we check out their Vet 3 bonus, they have a extensive combat and fitness training, allows them to stay on their toes, increasing mobility and weapon accuracy, but that doesn't help them not take damage and not die, so this is kind of ugly. Yeah, so Soviets trying to do this sort of blitzkrieg thing here, but concentrate all their infantry in one location and only able to reposition sort of at the very end to hit the second AT gun, and also that sort of ineffective fire barrage forced the AT gun off too. That I would have preferred to see a little less blob from the Soviet and a little more dual-pronged attack. You saw how well the attack worked over here. The German battle line completely melted, and I'm sure the Soviets could have done the same thing over here too. That would have helped the IS-2 be much more effective, because the AT guns, instead of barraging it, bombarding it, this thing especially, they would have had to reposition sooner versus the Soviet onslaught, and then maybe they could have even wiped out both AT guns, because the IS-2 could have stayed in the fight, blown up a lot of enemy infantry. With the enemy infantry blown up, that lets the Soviet infantry move in, wipe out the AT guns, capture them, drag them back to base, etc., etc. So not a terrible assault from the Soviets all told, but the IS-2 is going to take like 1,000 years to repair, down a bunch of manpower, and in terms of map control, pretty much nothing gained. But stealing that Pak-40 was actually a huge deal, both because it's nice to have a Pak-40, but most importantly because it's nice for your opponent not to have a Pak-40 and not to have any prospect of getting that Pak-40 back anytime soon. Notice, here's the manpower drain. Like I said, the shock troops at least have to move up to this green cover to even think about wanting to do anything. Nice try with the grenade over there, and just to do that, they end up taking 3 deaths and then another one on the retreat. So that's 4 people times 32, so that's 4, 8, 120... That's like 128 manpower just for that one attack. So at 189 manpower per minute, that's approximately... fuck. Well, it hurt. I feel like there's been a disparity in grenades this game between the German grenades and the Soviet grenades. Does anyone else agree with me? These guys are having fun. They're just gonna hang out by the fountain. Actually, hold on. I want to go back and check on that fountain once the fighting comes down. How did this ever work as a fountain? Did it... It was like really shallow, I guess, and it was above ground. Are there a lot of fountains like that? Someone has to... Comment on YouTube. Are there fountains? I don't really know what I'm asking. It just seems weird. Like, do you ever have a second wall with like water inside a fountain? Let's talk about something more important, like these guys. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're not actually. STG-44 is not bad at medium to long range, just better at close range. S minefield completed. Where's that shit? Okay, so they put up the mine warning, which is unfortunate. Now the Soviet player knows they're there. Nothing you can do about that. That's honestly really stupid. But it is going to be a bit of area denial, and I'm just surprised that the Oster has done such a good job capping these VPs. Still not doing too bad. 162, which, considering the Soviet map control, I could have imagined much, much worse. Oster did lose something up here. I think it's looking a little slim. Maybe that's just the pack. Oh, all the MGs. All the MGs are gone. Jesus. I think I must have missed one of them dying. It's easy to miss because the Soviets have just been, like, genociding these things. But you got to give them a lot of credit there. What's this? Maxim, MG42. Pretty sweet. What's this? A Sturmpanzer, not what I would have expected. High risk, high reward unit. Also looks badass with that camouflage. So nice couple of explosions here between the mortar and the Sturmpanzer that's gonna push off the infantry, but I'm not sure what the plan is versus the IS-2. He does have enough manpower to start thinking about a second. Oh, and there we go, second AT gun. So that is the plan. Not a bad idea. Are the Soviets laughing at the fact that we have a Sturmpanzer out? Or yeah, they are. Everybody's laughing. I don't know. It's funny. I mean, to be fair, the Soviets are sort of in infantry domination mode, which is really impressive considering we have like three Vet 3 Grenadier squads with LMGs and a Vet 2 Panzer Grenadier, which is not, and plus this Vet 3 Mortar, which is not easy to take on with Soviet infantry, but the Soviets are still doing really well, so we have infantry domination. This thing's running over minefields. Excellent, excellent. And so, seeing as the Soviets have infantry domination, I guess what the German player is thinking is that, like, look, you're facing the wrong way. Look, if I can wipe, like, one or two of these squads, that'll just help me out quite a bit. That'll help me start winning the infantry game, and once you win the infantry game, then, you know, the world is your oyster, etc., etc. There's all sorts of things you can do, and so just a lucky squad wipe or two would spell the difference, is what the Germans assuming, and with the AT guns you at least don't have to worry about the IS-2 sort of blitzing you, and in fact this can serve as a tempting target for the IS-2 to try and make it blitz you, and then get drawn into a trap where you can snare it with the Panzerfausts from the Vet 2 Grenadiers, and then things will be nice, but as it stands this is done fuck all. It's got 3 kills, I guess. Here's a shot, here's a shot. Now it's up to 4 kills. Hooray. I guess at the very least it's going to push off the enemy infantry. This could be bad. This could be bad. Oh, good. You realize they're under attack and retreated. So interesting to see that. So we have one Soviet MG set up here, and it gets grenaded, but only loses 1 man from that. With so much fighting going on, I don't know how anybody is fucking keeping track of this shit. Those conscripts are going to be in trouble versus Sturmpanzer. We have an MG set up over there. The Soviet MG in the middle was taken out, and so this is looking slightly better for the Ostherr. In the middle they probably will be able to push up, and that's indeed what these Grenadiers are going to do once they're being microed. And over here, I was about to say things are going well, but it looks like, oh, actually, still not doing awful. The packs are firing in sequence. We got a crew stunned over here, and this IS-2 is just going to manage to decrew the Vet 2 pack and pull out. So kind of a stalemate there. The Germans going to have to pay some manpower to reinforce this thing, and the Soviets going to have to repair this for another 20 minutes with these poor assholes with their minesweepers now. They're going over there because there's this minefield that's preventing anything from happening. What a game! What a game! I'm really excited. If only my frame rate were out of the teens. If only my frame rate could legally drink alcohol. Yeah, right now, let me put it like this. Right now, my frame rate can't vote in America. That's how shitty it is. God damn. I hate Relic with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. But when I say sons, I mean like children, male children, not actual sons. 1,000 actual sons would be like, I hate Relic so much, I'm gonna like suicide bomb them. It's not that bad. Nowhere near that bad. I'm just gonna convince somebody else. I'm joking. I can't find anybody who's that big a patsy. How's the pack doing? I guess it got recruited. Look at all that. Look at all that fire. Yeah, that's a really belated Molotovs there. Dude, you should have thought about that before you got your conscripts fucked up. I honestly have no idea who's going to win this. VPs are ticking down against the Ostherr, but they're on the case, as you might say. Soviets setting up in this house with an MG, not a bad idea. The MG is just taking so much shit when they're getting these fights from the mortar and from the grenades and just from the German LMGs that can do pretty good damage if they set up fire. That it makes sense just to park it over that VP and start to think about trying to win with VPs, which would be a good idea, because that's a good way to win versus your opponent. That's typically how people win in this video game, so sooner rather than later would be good. The Soviet player does sort of have the late game in the bag if they can keep pumping out heavy tanks, but to do that they have to stop losing so much infantry, and it looks like that's not going to happen. So it would be nice to see the Soviet player focus on 2 of the 3 fronts, losing 1 of the flanks to your opponent. Not sure what the big deal's going to be there, and you can always harass later, but with the IS-2 it shouldn't be too much trouble to sort of effectively secure the middle if you focus basically all your resources there and just have like 1 or 2 things over here to counter the VP. But yeah, like if these shock troops, instead of getting themselves spread out and hurt from all sorts of stuff over on the right, would instead be in the middle and along with the conscript move in and start clearing out these AT guns and these infantry and this mortar and stuff, then that sort of concentrated assault like we saw when the Soviet originally stole this AT gun would probably be the sort of thing, number 1, to get in control of the middle, number 2, maybe do a bit of damage, maybe take the AT gun, and really number 3, get some use out of the IS-2 without worrying as much about the Pak-48s destroying him, because he'd have infantry support, whereas right now, being split up all over the map, while it does keep the pressure on the Germans are sort of able to respond to the pressure without ever losing too much from it. And each time they respond to the pressure, they inflict manpower drain on the Soviets. You notice these shock troops, again, have had to retreat down to 5 men out of 12, so it's going to be 7 times 32, 210, plus 14, 224 manpower to reinforce those guys, and you multiply that by a couple more assaults, and that's like 400 and 500, whatever, that's an IS-2. That's my point. Well, that's a KV-8, really. Yeah, why not a KV-8? KV-8 wouldn't be a bad choice right now, unless the Soviets were predicting what the Oster is going to build next. Because what is the Oster going to build next, you ask? Well, that's a stupid question. You can actually see it, unless you're watching like a low-quality YouTube video or you have it like minimized or something. Because in the upper right, we look, where's the Oster player is building their next thing? We have a Panther coming. Good choice, also sending this Sturm thingy down there, because that doesn't have to worry about the MG. So Oster now getting a little desperate with the VPs, and if this Panther doesn't turn things around, I would expect a win for the Soviets. This IS-2 has not been put to full use, but it does buy some breathing room whenever it gets into the fight. It's a lot of effort for the Germans just to keep the Pak-40s set up to attack it. I guess this Pak-40 came down here as an insurance policy with the Sturmpanzer, but can't say I'm happy about that. It's going to give this IS-2 a bit more freedom than you want it to have. Luckily it doesn't get 1 more shot off on this Grandeur Squad. So now we see the concerted Soviet push, I think, that I was hoping for, but it's going to be maybe too late, because we have the Panther. Holy shit, you don't want your Panther facing that direction. Wait, no, that's the back. Sorry, it looked like this was the back. Well, they're good. Now that tree's gone, it'll be much easier to see. Look how much nicer this looks when the tree isn't there. When Relic asked for feedback on the maps, like, oh, 6 months ago or whatever, I said, like, there's a bunch of hedges on one of the map that I can't see what the fuck, and I don't think they changed that. But yeah, sometimes it can be tough to see. Fresh meat has arrived. Oh man, this is just... So, we have the 2nd Combat Engineer Squad built from the Soviets at some point to be able to repair this IS-2 back into shape, which honestly would have been nice to see before. If you remember... Oh, here comes the squish! Yeah! Oh, good! Oh, yeah, I love that. I love that. Squishing things is probably the best of everything in Company Heroes. Yeah, don't get Bloodlust IS-2. Holy shit! There's a squad down on the retreat, one of those shock troop squads down. That's really unfortunate. So actually, I don't know how the fuck the IS-2 is still at 100% health. Actually, just the recent AT gun hit brought it down just now, but this could be the win for the Germans, because we had kind of an uncoordinated assault by the Soviets there. Those shock troops going in without quite as much IS-2 support as you would have hoped. The incendiary artillery had been dropped over here to hold on to the fuel, which, let me put it this way, if you're floating 745 fuel, like, I understand the desire to deny fuel to your opponent, but at that point I think maybe, oof, AT gun destroyed. At that point I think it's worth thinking about saving the incendiary artillery barrages for these AT guns that are causing you so much trouble. We have an MG killed here by the Sturmpanzer, and so things are looking really nice for the Germans now. The question is, can the Soviets use what is still a fairly effective fighting force, including this AT gun, versus a fairly etiolated fighting force on the German side? They've lost a fair amount of units now, and certainly no more MGs, down to just 2 Gren squads. The Panzergren squad and these guys who are green behind the ears and over here capping anyways. I feel like the Soviets still have breakthrough potential. Yeah. And in fact, yeah, no, it could go either way at this point. Down to 75 points for the Germans, and I don't know what the fuck he's thinking with that. There's no way that would ever work. You know there's an IS-2 there. You know your opponent has stolen an AT gun, and something blew up there. Was that the mortar? Where's the mortar? Yeah, I think the mortar is shelling the base, so that's hilarious. I didn't know it had that kind of range. That's going to be fucking annoying for the Soviets. One lucky hit on these engineers, and it is curtains for them. Okay, that didn't hit, but then the next one's going to hit. No, I don't actually know. I'm just hoping, because that'd be impressive. One lucky hit. That clustering is really good. At this range, into the fog of war? Like, what a fucking mortar. What does that 3 get you? Improves max range. Well, could have told you that. So, really nice map control for the Ostheer, but it's all on the razor's edge. Like that song, Push It to the Limit. I just heard that because I was watching a YouTube video. That game on Steam now, in early access, where you build like siege machines or whatever. And you try and blow things up. Like, I haven't played that, but I watched a YouTube video of it. It was set to the Push It to the Limit song from Scarface. They made that song specifically for the movie. It's a badass song. Push it to the limit. Walk along the razor's edge. Something to the limit, etc. That's good stuff. So yeah, like I said, the Ostheer sort of position is really on the razor's edge here. Oh, he's gonna get a Vet 3 conscript squad. This is a great time to have 7 frames per second. What the fuck is wrong with this video game? People want to know why I haven't been making videos. It's because this fucking video game goes down to like -6 frames per second when I try and record with anything. Oh, is he gonna lose another squad? That would be bad. That would be so bad. This is a Panther coming in for a butt shot. And it's a pretty good butt shot. So now are we gonna get circle strafe? Oh, do we have an AT? Oh, that's an AT gun down here. This is looking bad for the eyes too. It's gonna be able to pull out, but there's gonna be some damage on it. I guess it's out of range, the AT gun. Nice penetration on the Panther. Panther's gonna pull out. Sturmpanzer is firing at fuck all. What a game! Oh my god! So exciting. Who's gonna win? I still don't know who's gonna win. The German forces just keep getting scarier and scarier. Oh, now they're less scary. Look at that. If he can kill that gun, that'd be good. Getting some really nice kills on these pioneers because they're repairing, and the top machine gun just chews them up. So yeah, Soviets still totally in this to win this, and would definitely have been much more in it to much more easily win it had the manpower drain from the Germans not just been so great this whole game. Because without that manpower drain, some of this 800 fuel would be KV-8s or IS-2s, and then the Germans would be fucked with a capital Pho. And pho might be good noodle soup from Vietnam, but it's not a thing you want to be when it's followed by a kda. Pho kda. Fucked. I was at a pho restaurant the other day, and nothing happened. And then after I was at the pho restaurant the other day, I thought what I should have said to the people I was with was I would point to the people and who just died? We have lost a command vetter squad, it sounded like. Oh, a mortar's dead. So what are these guys? He had 2 mortars. Oh, he's running off the map. Coward. So, GG for the mortar. Yeah, I was at a pho restaurant, and I didn't say anything, but later on, I decided I should have pointed to the people standing in line and said, what is that? And then the people I was with would be like, what? What are you talking about? And I would have said, fuck you. Because it's a pho queue. Get it? It's a line of people that queued up for pho. So if you ever want to say fuck you to somebody, but you don't know them well enough to actually just say fuck you, you can take them to a pho restaurant and ask them what's up with the line, and then they're going to get mad. Because if you don't know somebody well enough to say fuck you to them normally, then let's be honest, you don't know somebody well enough to say fuck you to them in a pun either. I still have no idea who's going to win, by the way. This Panther is at full health. Is this combat engineer squad going to die? Shoot him. Shoot her. That's from Jurassic. That's the Jurassic Park reference. Movie references. That's the best. You don't even have to make a joke. You just say the thing from the movie. It's automatically funny. That's how the best comedians do it. Like Family Guy and Family Guy. Honestly, no idea who's going to win. This Panther can definitely duke it out with the IS-2, especially with the IS-2s at 50% health. And if these guys had died, he wouldn't actually have any way to repair it. So that's... Oh no, he would! I didn't realize these were combat engineers because I didn't recognize them with their brand new LMG-42, only slightly used with some German dead people on it. But whatever. Ooh, this could get ugly. One of those see-through boxes. You ever see a see-through box in real life? That's dangerous. You have no idea what could be in it. I mean, you do, because it's see-through, so you can just check. But aside from that, very, very dangerous. Alright, this is going to be fun. I always love just... Something about me likes seeing Panzer Grenadiers or shock troops or whatever walk up close to people and, like, kill them. I'm not sure why he's not doing that. Walk up close to them and kill them. I mean, yes, you can kill them from this range, but I guess he wants to keep as much health on them as possible. So they can stay out there as long as possible, but look at this. So 500 manpower and 260 fuel, so definitely could see a Panther coming out to buff this up. And these two AT guns, though, along with the IS-2, could easily neutralize all the German armor. Scheiße, who's yelling about what? Ooh, those are nice hits on the Panther. And nice hits on the Sturmpanzer, which has armored skirts, I guess, because it's vet 2. Oh no! Oh, the humanity. That was one of the AT guns. Oops, I should not... I should not have fake laugh coughed, or fake cry coughed, because now I'm going to actually cough. I've been coughing a lot. My roommate has a cat, which is the best thing ever, because cats are awesome, but I'm also allergic to them, so I cough more than I used to. Also, I think I have allergies to whatever's in the air. Now I still have no idea who's going to win, because the German infantry has all melted. We just have an unvetted Grenadier squad and a Panzergren squad left. This AT gun firing at the IS-2, which is up to vet 2, trying to chase down the Sturmpanzer. Should really think about chasing down... Oh, are we going to see an AT grenade? These conscripts going to kill the Panther? Are they in range? They are not in range. The IS-2 is pursuing. The IS-2 is pulling back. The IS-2 is firing. Make it destroyed. It's going to get out. Is it going to get out? It needs to keep reversing. Keep reversing. It's actually probably not in a lot of danger because the conscripts are just going to back off. I would like to see them chase it to Kingdom Come. Because, you know, what are they going to run into? Just a Sturmpanzer. It's not like that can hurt conscripts. Just kidding, it can. That was a joke. It was an understatement. Understatements can be jokes. Just make your bets, people. Who's going to win? Soviets or Germans? Germansies. What a sedate fight. Like, after all the bullshit that's gone on, like, now it's just, like, 4 men firing rifles at each other. But then they had to go and make a fucking fire out of it and ruin it. Whatever. Just as I was getting some peace and quiet. A lot of craters here. Oh, and IS-2. So, but we have a Panther in production, so let's not call it for the Soviets. These things can swim. Again, like I said, razor's edge. I don't even know what the fucking demolition charge blew up. Fresh Grenadier squad. Man, you know it's a crazy game when you're 47 minutes in, you've teched up to like every goddamn thing except tier 3, and you're building Grenadiers and repairing a Panther. Getting this Panther out was pretty key. If that hadn't worked, it would be 2 IS-2s versus fuck all. I mean a Panther, but still, that would have been really bad. I don't know what the Sturmpanzer's thinking. Don't want to get caught. Are you gonna bait the IS-2 into this badly positioned pack, which is still... Oh no, fuck! Rear armor hit, no kidding. Oh boy, that's gonna be the end of the Sturmpanzer. Except not. Yeah, that's an easy shot to miss. I can understand why you would miss that. There's a lot of stuff in the way. Nice crit there. So here comes probably the crucial battle of the entire match. How this turns out is gonna... Crew shock, what an unfortunate critical. This is gonna determine everything. We have Blitzkrieg popped on the Panthers, get behind the IS-2. Turns out there's another IS-2 here. Panthers don't mind very much. What they do mind is this AT gun firing on that Panther. My game is slowing down to fucking bullshit. The 2 Panthers have really done a number on this IS-2, but I think we've gotten enough damage in on each of the Panthers from the AT guns that the IS-2 is maybe gonna make it out. and get some kills. These Panthers are probably going to go down, if not before getting their IS-2. Mango destroyed on that one's out of control, and looks like this is going to be a win for the Soviets. What an excellent game. Good game, well played. That was really exciting, down to the wire, even at the last second, and the Sturmpanzer is like, ha, I am going to help. I'm the big fat tank. I am here. I am here. Please. Oh, you know what? If this Sturmpanzer had not gotten itself fucked up in that fight versus that IS-2, it could have driven in during this fight, completely owned the AT gun, and that would have been a pretty different fight. All those one-shot kills came at a bad time for me. Yeah, a lot of the decrewed MG42s really hurt Stefan here, so the lesson here is buy me a new video card so that my next Shoutcast won't be at like, yeah, like 2 frames per second. God. If I change the HUD back to normal, will that fix things? Oh, wrong button. Let's find out. Is that a cow's head? I broke it. Okay, that just broke my game completely, but now we're back, and that's a dead cow, and it's just like capped at 20. No, now we're down to 15. Okay, fuck you, Relic.